there, my name's Ryan, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at one of the modules I've done in my final year at university. So this was programming for, I forgot the actual name of it, which is great. Programming for entertainment systems, there we go. So this was looking into DX11 and C, and there was some high shaded languages there as well. Um, Yeah, so basically, since this was mostly unsupported by Microsoft, we were given some sort of template from the lecturer, um, and we then had to set up a playable character that can move around the scene. So this is the first thing I'm going to show you. This was the first 40% of the module, which we then moved over to a further 60% of making some type of game out of that. So there needed to be some sort of interactive elements that you could do, and some sort of progress within the game that could be completed in any way. So I'm just going to launch this. This is the first one. So you can hear the flapping in the background. I'm not quite sure how loud that is. Hopefully it's not right over the top of my voice. And the controls for this one, I believe, yeah, there we go. So we can obviously move around. As you can see, I'm moving forwards, and that's just accelerating the speed. I can turn around on the x-axis, or whichever one that is, I forgot. I believe that's the x-axis. And we can also move around the y-axis and also the z-axis. Obviously, it depends which program you're used to using, which one's Z or Y, up. But yeah, setting up this took a lot of reading through the code that we were given to really understand what was being done, what was going on. That flapping is really annoying, so I'm going to close this in a moment. But you can see it spawned in like a floor, although it's not got a collider on it, and a sphere for the skybox, which was nice and simple. Although obviously it wasn't simple to do when you had no experience in DX11 and or C. So yeah, that's. I believe there was originally a tiger in the scene, and we were tasked with obviously swapping that out with a different SDK mesh, adding some wings to it and making those animate like they are now. I believe that's all there really is to talk about in this one. So I'm going to quickly load up the next solution, which should be this one. Here we go. So obviously making some type of game. I chose to keep the parasaur that I had, the type of dinosaur that was there. Decided to keep that and add a way for the player to shoot. Unfortunately, with the SDK meshes that were available to me, there wasn't much in terms of like bullet objects that I could spawn in, bullet SDK meshes that I could spawn in. So I've used a chess piece for that. Which, for all intents and purposes, that's fine. It's not supposed to be a polished game. It's just a prototype showing that you can implement these features, and really the aesthetics of that really isn't quite important. There's also teapots within the scene because, of course, our parasaur loves to drink tea. Everyone knows that, surely. But yeah, the teapots are there to collect. Picks up and plays a sound. There's also enemies within the scene that chase you, and those are the reason why the player is able to shoot. So the player can shoot those, and they'll despawn and play a sound that sounds quite like a dog getting murdered. It's the only suitable sound I could find. Again, it's kind of unimportant. It's more just sort of there for the feedback and showing that I can implement a sound based upon an event that's happened within the game. So before we head in, I'm just gonna, if you're wearing headphones, I'd probably turn the sound down. There's going to be little talking over this because the sounds are very loud, and I don't know quite how to fix that. I might quickly turn this down. That might help quite a lot for you. But yeah, I'm gonna go through this now. But be warned that the sounds are very loud. So here we are. We haven't got the flapping that we were used to because of the you can only play one sound at a time, so I decided not to use the flapping. which makes sense. We can see a dog there in the distance. Hopefully I can try and shoot him. There we go, so we've shot him. We also killed one just after we got hit by one of them, which you could hear. There we go, so we basically lived, that's okay. So yeah, what's happened there, obviously the dogs were chasing us, coming towards our position. I'll restart this in a moment to show that they do come towards a position, not just that position, but whichever position you're at, so they'd actually be chasing you. So let me just work out and get down to the teapot. There we go. So that's obviously collecting the teapots. And we got 10 score from that. I'm pressing the wrong buttons, which is good. Ugh. This is very fiddly with the... I'm pretty sure I went through that one, but never mind. Alright, oh dear. I'm just gonna have to fly upside down, I think. Yeah. the controls were changed a little bit from the last version. As you can see, I'm no longer like really turning around properly as I was, but that's because of the yaw and the axis like changing. I swear I would have went through that, but apparently not. So just go up a bit and turn around. I've also got it inverse, which isn't great. So yeah, so you can pick up all of those. We can see our scores at 20, so I'm capturing some information here. Our health started at 5, although we got hit by 4 of the 7 dogs. So we've only got 1 health left, and we've shot 3 of the 7 dogs. So yeah, you can still shoot. There's a bit of zigzagging going on here as it estimates how to put that into like a straight line, as it's just zigzagging. I imagine if I'm correctly in line with one of the axes, it'll go completely straight. But yeah, that goes. Those bullets go on for about 10 seconds before they despawn. There was a very big issue getting those to spawn. So having a list and adding them to the list and then removing them from the list seemed to be the best way to do it. There were several issues trying to get it to work without a list. It just wouldn't work. You couldn't remove them, and having no experience with C really didn't help with that. You know, I've only really coded in C# and Java, a little bit of JS and Node.js as well. So there was some big problems that needed sorting. Got through it finally, like thankfully. But yeah, I'll quickly restart this so we can have a quick look at them actually chasing us. So I'll just go forward. I believe there's a dog in front of us somewhere. Somewhere on the horizon we'll see one. I'll just toggle full screen. There we go. We can see turn, and they should, if I slow down, catch up to us. So I'll just stop at this position, just to allow them to catch up, because they have a different speed to the player. And hopefully, any time now, I'll actually start going backwards. I'm caught up now. So we can see as I'm moving, they're sort of changing their direction. Sometimes it takes them a bit longer. They obviously don't rotate, but sometimes it takes them a bit longer to sort of go towards you. I'm not quite sure why that is. Some directions they go really fast towards you, and some directions they don't. Again, that's due to a lack of really experience in C, and with DirectX as well. It's so complicated. Yeah, we can obviously see they're coming towards us. They're going like diagonal when they can, and then when they're straight on, they'll go straight on towards you. So they're basically finding the best. Well, not the best, one of the best apart from that. So yeah, there's been no actual way to actually exit the application without completely crashing Visual Studio that I could find. So I've just put up here that you lose. You know, you don't win. So so the player's quite aware of that. Coming out full screen now. There we go. But that's basically the all. There's another dog. Um, yeah, it's just a very interesting module to do. Very hard, I would say as well. It took a lot, of looking into the code itself and really figuring out what was going on to be able to make any progress. Just gonna close this. But yeah, there's some of the way that DX11 works and C works is very interesting compared to what I'm used to. So there was definitely some lessons to take away there, of really figuring out how to use C and how to use DX11 um, appropriately, in the correct fashion to stop crashes and bugs and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, if I did this project again, I'd have a lot better knowledge base of where to go and hopefully get a lot more features in it. Um, but I'm quite happy with how this progressed and where it came to. Um, yeah, so thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you very much.